Nonprofit organization, but we didn't start that way. We didn't really mean to start a nonprofit. We really just meant to tell a story and to try to help a friend of ours. I met a girl named Renee, who's a friend of mine, and I met her back in Florida, back in Orlando 2 years ago. And when I met her, she was 19. Her life was in a really difficult place. She had known a history of drug addiction, depression, self-injury. She had attempted suicide. And basically, she was denied entry into a treatment center and then spent the next 5 days with some friends and myself. And basically, these were her first days sober. These were her first days kind of coming back to life in a long time. And halfway through this 5 days, I asked her a question that was pretty awkward, that was pretty vulnerable, and I assumed the answer would be no. I basically just asked her what she thought about the possibility of telling her story. And like I said, assumed she would just kind of say, hey, get lost. And she really surprised me and said some things that I'll never forget. She smiled and she said she loved the possibility that maybe there could be a purpose for her pain, that maybe other people could relate to the things that she had been through, maybe other people could actually find hope in her story, and that if any of those things could happen, even for one other person, that would actually help her make some sense of her life and the things that she had lived with. So after 5 days, she entered treatment, and I sat down and wrote this story, and it wasn't very long. It was a couple pages long, and kept coming back to this title that was way too long to be a title. It looked a bit more like the name of a Fall Out Boy song or something. And so I had this idea of naming this thing "To Write Love in Her Arms," and essentially it was "To Write Love in Her Arms" was really a goal. It was this idea of believing something better for her life, believing that words like rescue and sobriety and freedom and redemption, that these things were real and they were possible for her. And so she entered treatment, and then I had this story and shared it with some friends and was really encouraged by the fact that it was meaning something to people. And then we realized that Renee's treatment was going to cost money, and we wanted to try to meet the financial need as well. And had the idea to print some t-shirts to try to sell a few back home just to pay for her treatment. And had the idea that, we wanted this whole thing to have a home. We wanted, people to find the shirts, people to find the story. And so we made this MySpace page. And then basically I remember getting the first box of shirts, and I was actually at a sold-out Switchfoot show in South Florida and was standing with John, and we open up this first box and we pull out a shirt, and we're kind of excited and kind of smile. And John says, hey, would it be okay if I wore this tonight? If I wore this on stage? And I played it really cool, and I said, yeah, John, that would be fine. And that was a pretty good idea. I wasn't like a marketing genius, but I figured that was a good idea. And halfway through the set, John just says, hey, I'd love for you guys to check out this thing that my friend is working on, and you can find more about it on the internet. And I remember feeling like, man, that's close, but it's not quite enough. People need a web address, they need something specific. And went home that night, and really getting to the heart of the matter, went home, and there was all these messages from people that had been at the show, and all these comments and people saying that the story that we were telling, that Renee's story was also their story. People that had lost loved ones to suicide, people that said they had thought about suicide, people that talked about depression, a lot of people that they said they really understood it, that they could trace it back to some really difficult season, some moment or loss that was really painful. And other people said that their life looked pretty good on paper and they couldn't really figure out